I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Cotopaxi Allpa 28L travel pack, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. As you can see by the name on the corner here, this is the Allpa 28L. This also comes in a 35 and a 42L option. This is definitely the best option if you're going to be going on a lot of shorter trips, or if you have a smaller torso or a shorter frame, if you're looking for something that's more comfortable specifically for that. So obviously the design is this is going to be the smallest out of the three, but they have basically the same design throughout. So looking at the outside, we're going to talk about the materials first. This is their kind of newer design, but these new materials here, it's 100% recycled 840D TPU coated nylon, and then there's a 840D ballistic ripstop nylon down on the bottom here, and then the liner is recycled ripstop polyester. Also YKK zippers throughout. Basically all of that to say that this is a really sturdy bag. It feels really durable, to the touch. It is a little bit crunchy, so you can hear that on the camera there. It also has kind of a shiny look to it. I would say this is more like a sporty kind of style bag, but it is a very popular bag, and so you're going to see it around a lot. So there are a lot of different colorways you can pick too, more subtle, more bright, so you can really kind of personalize it to your style here. We've also got these bright these are just like a nylon, kind of like a stiff nylon pole, that's like a material. Really easy to grab all the zippers around. We also have some attachment points on the outside here. I never really find myself using these. I don't really love hanging stuff from the outside of my pack, but if you wanted to hang an extra water bottle or something like that, there is a water bottle pocket. That's definitely an option. We also have carry handles on the side, the bottom, and the top. So this makes it easy if you want to kind of move it from one side to the other, if you need to grab it out of the overhead bin or something like that. There's no padding on these handles here, but I don't really find myself missing it. You're not really going to be carrying it by those handles, so not a huge deal in my opinion. The zippers as well are lockable. So actually that's a paracord zipper pull from the inside of the bag, which is something I ran into a lot, which we'll talk about in a bit. But these are locking zipper pulls, so if you wanted to put your own TSA approved lock on there, you can definitely do that for a little extra protection. But in general, apart from obviously the bright colorways and the louder branding here, it is a pretty simple bag on the outside. So let's take a little look at the harness system. Like the rest of the bag, the harness system is pretty simple and straightforward. So this is their redesigned strap system for better weight distribution and air. They have these air mesh shoulder straps, which essentially is just their way of saying that it's very comfortable, and I would agree with that. So these straps are not the thickest. They are a little on the stiffer side, but even on my frame, they still felt very comfortable on this small size. With the mesh on the back panel as well, it's a very soft mesh, and it's designed to add breathability, especially with this air channel in the middle. This is a luggage pass-through, so if you wanted to put this as your carry-on bag on top of luggage or something like that, that is an option. But I found this very comfortable. I felt the padding itself all over this bag was definitely more than enough. The hip belt's really the only thing that I'm kind of 50-50 about. With this, if you don't want to use it, it does tuck away into this back panel, so that's no problem there. But it does sit this is one of those hip belts that's not, because there's no padding, it doesn't really tighten and add a ton of lift to the backpack. So if you're looking for something to really redistribute that weight, this isn't necessarily going to do that, but it does just enough to really feel you just feel a little bit more stable. It kind of holds the bag in place a little bit better. So that works really well. We have NIFCO hardware kind of around here, a sternum strap on a sliding rail. So very easily adjustable and comfortable to wear. I'll show you it on my frame and just kind of add a couple of notes. So you can tell with this 28L bag, this is pretty proportional to my body in terms of size. Like I mentioned, the 35, you do kind of get the upgraded hip belt on that, but it is a little bit larger, and just for my frame being a little bit smaller, I have a 16-inch torso, I'm about 5'6", it just really wasn't the best, or it was still comfortable, but it just felt a little large. In this case, you know, it feels like it sits nicely on my back. The hip belt here does sit high, and it's kind of relying on my hips to take some of that weight off. So depending on your body type, that might not do its job, but even if it's not taking a ton of weight off, it does add stability to the bag, so it's not kind of like whipping all over the place. So that's still comfortable. And then you have the sternum strap here, which is really easy to fit and does feel like it kind of pulls it together a little bit. The bag does feel like it pulls back a little, like I miss load lifters a little bit. I feel like that would kind of lock down the fit a little bit more, but in general, it's still very comfortable. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. So looking at the external pockets here, starting off with this water bottle pocket. I love this water bottle pocket. It's so flush to the bag when you're not using it, and it's designed to fit up to a liter bottle, which obviously the bigger bottle that you have, the more it's gonna kind of cut into that main compartment space. But this is kind of a wider bottle. It's only 16 ounces, but like it's pretty thick compared to other 16-ounce bottles that we've tested. And you can see when it goes in, it can really get far down. I've noticed that like shorter bottles do really well in here because the pocket is pretty big, and since it's so stretchy, you can really shove them in there and they feel very secure. So if you have a taller and skinnier bottle, it might not feel as secure, but because this mesh does such a good job, like compacting down, it really will hold your bottle in place. So that's very great. And then in terms of other storage here, we have a, actually, let me just do the laptop compartment. So if you flip it to the other side, you've got a laptop compartment. This is like a locking zipper mechanism. So what you do is you feed the zipper pull through here, and then if you do it properly, the whole zipper pull will go through, and then it's like harder for somebody to just unzip your bag. When we first got this bag, when I first picked it up for testing, it was fed through here, and I had a hard time getting it back. So if you're getting your laptop a ton, you don't need to use it. And even if you just pull it all the way up here, it's still secure. So that's what I did for the most part. And then when you open this up, this is like a nice felty, like soft material. And it fits up to a 15-inch laptop. So I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, fits up to a 15-inch. This is like a tablet sleeve. This wasn't really functional for me because it doesn't fit my laptop, but it does fit like a keyboard or something like that. So you can use this for like additional tech. Because this pocket is fairly large, I mean, you can see I can open it a ton. And it does have some like, there's like not really a false bottom, but there's like protection down here and then protection on this side, to the point where even though it's not a false bottom, I still feel like my tech is protected. But if you're really concerned, there is so much space in here, you could definitely use like an additional protective sleeve or something like that. And then the only other pockets we have on the outside are these top two. So this one, I love this one for quick grab items. So I put basically like phone, wallet, and headphones in here. So anything that I wanted access to very quickly, but it does have, and let's see if I can show you in there, it does have a good amount of depth in there. So even though looks like a skinny pocket, you can still fit a decent amount of gear in there, which is pretty great if you have a lot of small items that you want to keep sort of separate. And then if you go into this pocket here, these little zipper pulls, it's a dual zipper pocket, so you can open it from any point. And you open this here. This is designed for a like toiletry bag or something that you would pull out during airport security, or something you want quick access to, like put like your Kindle in here or something like that. But it does have a lot of depth to this pocket. So I definitely use this as like a second really like packing compartment. So when I say that I put like my toiletry bag in here, like it was basically, I rarely ever put it in this main compartment. I just sort of like treated this as my toiletry bag area. Just because the only other pocket in here is this mesh pocket, which I have a notebook in here. And then there's also a key leash where just like a easy plastic key clip. It's not very long, so it's just gonna keep your keys separated. Like if you're traveling, you don't really need to access your keys all the time. So they're in a nice secure spot, kind of tucked away, which is good. But I don't really find myself using this mesh pocket a lot. So I just used all of this large space for like this type of a pouch that needed more room. And then it was quick and easy to access. Like, if I was going somewhere, like I did like an overnight and I just needed to change really quickly when I got there, it was nice to just kind of open up this pocket, grab this and go. So this pocket here, because of all of that depth, actually starts to interact with the main compartment. So putting my pouch back in, I'm gonna close this real quick and then open up this bag entirely. So where are the zipper pulls? They're there. So you grab those zipper pulls back there, open it up. It's a dual zipper like the other compartment, so you can unzip like pretty much anywhere along the track. And to just kind of start off, these are the zipper pulls I was mentioning earlier. This is the one, like the edge of the one that you, no, actually it's this one that you saw. They're so long that they fall over the zipper track, and like pretty much every time I closed this bag, they were all pretty much on the outside like they are right now. So like before I could even zip, I had to kind of shove them in. And depending on how like lumpy my stuff in here was, it could be a little bit hard to zip around the zipper track just because they're big, chunky, beefy zippers. The bag itself is like kind of saggy if it's not packed out perfectly. So something to keep in mind. That's more of like it's more of a nitpick than anything, because otherwise this bag functions very, very well. So if you're familiar with the other sizes, this organization is going to look very familiar to you. But kind of kicking it off here, we've got a top flat mesh pocket, which I used for, I forgot to put anything in here, but it's like, I would put like an extra layer of gloves or a hat or something that I'm not going to use or wear all the time would just go in here. And the reason this is flat is because this front pocket here is taking up all of that depth. So you can see where this pocket, well, you can't see because obviously it's flipped upside down. Basically where this pocket ends is right here. And so this is flat so that you can have more space there. So they did a really good job just across the design for all of these bags at making sure that the space doesn't kind of eat into itself, which is great in a travel backpack because you've got a lot of weird shaped gear. You got to put a lot of different places. This pocket here has a lot of depth to it. So this is the depth that you would see otherwise in this pocket if you didn't have that front compartment. I put shoes in here recently, which usually I'm not a big like, obviously I would recommend using like a pouch or something because this is mesh so it could slip through. But I like this because I didn't really have, I was doing like a overnight and I just needed to bring like, I had to bring like a couple different change of clothes because I wasn't sure what I was going to wear. And I needed to bring an extra pair of shoes, and that's always like the most annoying thing to pack. But I kind of put them over here because I wasn't using the space anyway, and it was really nice. These are size 10.5, so you could do that. You could put the shoes there, or you could put something else like a different cube, or if you have extra toiletries or tech pouches or whatever you want to do. This is a good amount of space you can fit over here. Like you can fit, a couple pairs of pants and some shirts. Or if you want, you can put everything like I did here in this compartment. So in the past I put shoes. These shoes do fit down at the bottom, so if you prefer to put your shoes in on like that big side, that's totally works here. But over here I've got like socks and underwear and shirts and that sort of a thing. So I've got 1, 2, I think like 5 pairs of socks here, and then 2 different bralettes, and then in here I have a pair of leggings, a pair of pants, a pair of jeans, a sweater, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 different tops. So easily with this kind of setup, you can fit a week's worth of clothing in here, no problem, especially if you utilize a capsule wardrobe. I also have a belt in here. So you can see I just kind of like, I just fed it like around the side here so I wouldn't have to bend it because it is like a leather material. But you do have like a fair amount of flexibility in how you want to pack this thing out. There's a lot of depth, but the bag itself, while you're packing, stays nice and tall. Like it's structured enough that like when I'm loading my jeans in here, I put them in, I kind of tuck them in this corner, and then they're good to go. Like I don't have to worry about the bag falling all over itself. So it's definitely something where, depending on your needs, like if you don't need a ton of extra space, or if you have a smaller frame and your clothes are smaller or something like that, this is going to be a perfect size for like even longer trips. You don't have to really sacrifice a ton of space. And then if you wanted to go up a size or two, they do have the larger sizes and you're going to get pretty much the same layout. So they're all very similarly functional. So there you have it, the Cotopaxi Allpa 28 liter travel pack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.